to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Corman?
Here.
Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Mr. Zwicker?
Here.
Ms. Breyer? Mr. Prince?
Here.
Mr. Person?
Here.
Ms. Palmer?
Here.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, one absent.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Zwicker.
I move that we excuse the absent council member.
Second. Been moved by Mr. Zwicker, seconded by Mr. Prince, so we excuse Councilmember Breyer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Administrative report, Mr. Covington.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Council, I have 3 items I wanted to make sure you were aware of, and also members of the public. First, tomorrow, June 4th, at 3 p.m., Mayor Law will officially ring the opening bell to kick off the 12th season of the Renton Farmers Market at the Piazza, Renton's beautiful urban park. The market will be filled with fresh flowers, beefy lettuce, rosy rhubarb, amazing asparagus, and a virtual cornucopia of other farm fresh produce every Tuesday from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. June 4th through September 24th. In addition to the market fair, shoppers will enjoy live music, tips from master gardeners, the Taste of Renton featuring local chefs, and children's activities. And then this Friday, June 7th, we want to join or invite everyone to come join us for a benefit dinner to help raise money for the soon-to-be constructed Meadowcrest Playground. You heard about that earlier this evening. That's a playground where children and families of all abilities can play and learn while having fun. Dinner will be served beginning at 5:30 p.m. with entertainment provided by Cherry Cherry, a Neil Diamond tribute band. After dinner, Tony Ventrelia's motivational program Synergy Live will be presented at the Carco Theater. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. This dynamic program begins at 7 p.m. and ends at 8:30 p.m. and features high-energy actors and singers. There is no cost to register, but a donation would be greatly appreciated, and we'll be watching. To register for more information, and we would encourage people to come, please register so we know how much food to prepare for. People can call Renton Community Center at 425-430-6700. And then finally, at our last council meeting, there was a question about the Veterans Memorial Park memorial plaques, and council was provided information. I just wanted to let the public know that they can go onto our website to get more information, but we do still invite anyone who has a member of the armed services currently serving or family member or friend who has served and would like to memorialize that service. They can still purchase a memorial plaque that would go in our Veterans Park, and we would encourage folks to do that. Again, if they have questions, they can contact us at 425-430-6600 to have an application mailed, or they can go online in our Parks Department, and they can find that there on our website. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Next is audience comment. We have a couple people signed up to address the council. When I call your name, please come to the podium, give your name and city of residence for the record, and you have 5 minutes. Mark Martinez.
Good evening, Council. Mark Martinez. I live up in the Renton Highlands. I'd like to just kind of touch back what I talked about last time I came up here, which was I-502 bill that passed that legalized marijuana. And I had a lovely conversation with Councilmember Prince about this over the weekend. And as most of you know, the city of Seattle is moving forward with zoning ordinances to allow the growth and distribution of marijuana for, I guess 502 is for just any purpose. You know, prior we had the medical marijuana. And so what I'm hoping is that maybe somebody on the council, Mr. Prince maybe, or any council member can maybe move Renton in a way that helps us be in a position to be ahead of the curve on this. We have the opportunity now to help establish what the precedence is for the entire region, even maybe even the state, on the use and distribution of marijuana for regular consumption. Now, I talked last time about some friends of mine who I deployed to Iraq with, and their use as for medicinal purposes to treat injuries sustained while we were in Iraq that the VA was not able to help them with. But now we have this opportunity with this new industry coming. Really, it's a new industry, so we can accept it and as a new growth industry and say, hey, we got this opportunity to maybe have some jobs in the city and create tax revenue for the city. That is always good, or we can treat it as some sort of Achilles heel that we just have to deal with, like the dance club that's over in the south end of Renton. So I mean, you can deal with it as something like something that you have to put up with, or you can embrace it as something that the voters of Washington State have said that they wanted. I was listening to Bill Maher last Friday, and he was actually talking about the marijuana use and especially how it affects minority communities. He said that 7 to 1 felony convictions for use of marijuana affects minorities. And a felony conviction, of course, means that you can't vote until you do all the things that you pay your debt to society and the fees and the fines that you have to pay. So this is really an issue not only for just the general public, but also for the minority community as a whole. And then he further went on to say about how in President Obama's book, he wrote about how President Obama himself smoked pot semi-regularly, and how if he would have ever once gotten caught, he would have never been a president. And now things are changing, and he went on to say about how right now federal legislation against marijuana is like the Berlin Wall. It's crumbling. And we, as the city, you, as the city policymakers, can be part of the group that sets the precedent for the rest of the state by climbing on top of the wall with a chisel and hammer, or you can wait 2 years to see what everybody else does and see what the rubble's left on the ground and how you're going to apply that to the city. So I would suggest that the city, the administration and the council look into how we can best apply this, see what the city of Seattle is doing, and how we can make some of those things relate to Renton and capitalize on some of this, new upcoming industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, just so you're aware, and we are looking into Seattle, what City of Seattle is doing right now. They're not trying to do anything that's progressive or innovative. They are looking at where they may restrict zoning for marijuana retail outlets and other things that they can try to foresee now that could potentially be issues once the state gets all of its regulations in place. So they're trying to get ahead of that by figuring out what types of restrictions, for instance, distances from schools, churches, whether they're going to zone just a portion of the city where they'll be located because they have fear about having them in every neighborhoods. So they're not really looking at trying to promote a new industry, but more so how they're going to regulate it once the state figures out what it's going to do, which nobody knows at this point in time. So next is...
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, yes, Mr.
Yeah,
Clement.
I was just going to say, I had asked for that topic of the new marijuana legislation to be on the at the council offsite, council retreat agenda, and in some ways maybe did a disservice. Maybe if I'd made it the committee of the whole topic, at least it would have been televised so citizens would know what was going on with that. But when I asked to look at it, it was because I understood that I tend to agree with Mr. Martinez's comments that society is changing, and I tend to agree that I think at a national level it's likely that we'll see marijuana ultimately legalized. I don't know, but it seems to be the trend. And when I asked for it to go on the retreat agenda, and I know I got some support, I think other council members agreed, it was really a matter of recognizing it, I think like alcohol, that we're not quite sure exactly what the control board is going to look like. And just like, if alcohol had suddenly become legal, we'd be cautious about, say, allowing people that are going to serve liquor to move in right across the street from a school or something. But I think we're expecting that we'll get a set of guidelines, and I just want to go on record as saying I'm not resisting that in any way.
I don't think,
Yeah.
in fact, I haven't been around any city leaders that have been resisting it at all. They want direction, as our city attorney will point out frequently to us. That's a violation of federal law. And it's unfortunate that the federal government isn't keeping pace with a lot of public opinion and state laws. So that creates the dilemma for the state of Washington to figure out, now that it's been approved, essentially, what does that mean?
Right.
So-
It's an unusual situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, next is Paul Olet.
Hi, my name is Paul Olet. Lived in Renton for 40 years. I trust you fellows probably think that the Cedar River Library issue has gone away. To some of us, it has not. But before I comment on that, I'd like to extend a kudos for the City Parks Department. My wife and I were doing our usual morning walk down to Coolum Park on Saturday morning and experienced the wonderful work that the Parks Department was doing with the kids and the fishing. There was over hundreds and hundreds of families and their kids over there, really having a wonderful time. And I talked to the lady that was in charge and said they had stocked 2,400 trout in the lake. I said, that's great, because it's going to help the older men that are out there fishing there every morning. Anyway, a kudos for the Parks Department and also the maintenance people there, because they're doing a wonderful job in the Coolum Park, and we appreciate that opportunity to enjoy it. On the subject of the library, I think if you recall, the last meeting I had asked the council a number of questions relative to the the additional library entrance and so on. And I did receive a written reply from Terry Hagishiyama from the staff. And I'm grateful for that answer. However, I have some comments to make about specifically the responses that I received. And then one of the comments was about any correspondence or direction that the council and staff had made to KCLS about the additional entrance. The answer was, we post it on the website, and it's available on the website. My God, is that the only kind of direction that the council has the opportunity to give to KCLS? Aren't you paying the bill for this library? The second the second response that I received was that KCLS intends to consider an additional entrance, was the question. And the answer was that it's a responsibility of KCLS to design the facility. Is that the only leverage that you have? Surely you have a little bit more leverage than that. You're going to be getting invoices every month. Don't you have some leverage of some sort? I took exception. I personally take exception to that kind of response. The other question was about the budget breakdown. And the answer that I got was that the budget will undergo a number of revisions. Well, my question still is there. Where is the update, the budget breakdown that incorporates the additional $1.5 million that you have approved? Where is it? I haven't seen it on the website. Has it been submitted yet? If not, why not? Do you know where those monies are going and how are they going to be spent? I think if you take a look carefully, is that the invoices will be paid on a percent complete, not on the labor expended. So the statement that was made somewhere along the line by one of the council members was that we may not have to spend it all. I question that, because I know from my experience that when they submit a bill, they submit on a percent complete, 50%, 100%, or whatever it is. So whatever they've outlined in the budget is what you're going to get as a bill. The last question was, I'm sorry if I'm nervous tonight. I asked about the commitment to the contract or contracted consultant. And The answer was, we're still looking at it. We've received only one application. Well, it seems to me that you better hurry up and do it and get someone to evaluate the budget, not the construction budget, but the total program budget and where the monies are allocated. Because you're going to get a request from KCLS for additional money for the Highlands Library. I'm sorry I missed the COW meeting here, the presentation, but I doubt very much that they gave you a proposed budget breakdown for that facility also, okay? If they come in for additional money, what is it for? Do you really know what it's for? Does the staff know what it's for? You know, I'm nervous because I'm concerned with where our money is going and where it's going to go. So I would please beg you to try and put more attention to this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, council, is the consent agenda. We have 6 items for your consideration. Are there any items that council member would like pulled for discussion?
Seeing none, Mr. Mayor, I would move approval of the consent agenda as published.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Corman, seconded by Mr. Taylor. The council concur with the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Unfinished business, Mr. Corman.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, at this point, I'd like to bring forward a couple of reports from the Committee of the Whole meeting this evening.
Committee of the Whole Committee Report, Purchase and Sale Agreement for the Highlands Library Parcel. The Committee of the Whole recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation that the full council authorizes the mayor and city clerk to sign the purchase and sale agreement for the Highlands Library Parcel in essentially the form presented to the Committee of the Whole on June 3rd. 2013. The property is located between Sunset Boulevard Northeast and Sunset Lane and Northeast 10th Street. The property is approximately 16,072 square feet. The purchase price is $382,460.53 plus reimbursement of the seller for demolition of the one structure on the property, abatement of any hazardous materials within the building, and a pro-rata rated share of the cost of a Phase 1 environmental report. This is signed by the council president.
Mr. Mayor, I would move approval of this committee report.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Corman, seconded by Mr. Zwicker. The council concur with the Committee of the Whole report. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Committee of the Whole Committee Report, Highlands Library Schematic Design and Maximum Budget Approval. The Committee of the Whole recommends approval of the schematic design for the new Highlands Library of approximately 15,000 gross square feet and a maximum city contribution amount not to exceed $10 million for the development and construction of the new library. The committee recommends the remaining balance of $140,804 in preliminary budget be retained for the project under the city's control and may be applied toward future frontage improvements or other city investments in the Sunset area. The committee further recommends an interfund loan to be established for the acquisition of land on which the new library will be constructed. The interfund loan will be repaid from the surplus proceeds from the existing Highlands Library after the opening of the new library. This is signed by the council president.
Mr. Mayor, I'd move approval of this committee report.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Corman, seconded by Mr. Zwicker. The council concur with the Committee of the Whole report. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Palmer.
I'm concerned that we're going to read this out and approve it today because the budget that we saw tonight, it was not emailed to us. The first I saw of it was tonight. The only reason I would approve this is because it says a maximum of $10 million. So they've stayed within budget. But our policy has been to not take action on the same night we've initially heard about something. This is a $10 million budget that I quickly scanned through during the presentation, and I'm no designer, architect, or engineer. Not that I would know that there was anything right or wrong about it, but
Well,
that's just my opinion.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr.
Yeah,
Corman.
I mean, with all due respect, and if we need another week to look at it, that would be okay with me. But it did look like it was it wasn't very far off the budget that had been proposed a year ago. And given, how much the climate's changed, I was rather pleased that it was so close to the same one we'd looked at. And so I'm kind of eager to move on with it. In fact, if anything, it seemed pretty consistent with what we've been talking about for several years. So, I guess I'd be curious what other council members, how they feel about that. I don't want to approve it too recklessly or anything. But at the same time, it's a budget we've talked about the whole time for Highlands Library, and the plan is basically the same plan. So.
Mr. Covington, did you want to give some clarification in terms of really what's being allocated or approved?
Well, just a little curious, and we can certainly check Councilwoman Palmer's email. I guess I asked the rest of the council. We sent it via email Thursday. It was late Thursday afternoon, but we did get it out to the council. If it didn't get to Councilwoman Palmer, I apologize. I thought sent it out to the full council members, and then I believe it was subsequently then also put in your Dropbox. But we did try to get it out to you, knowing that it was a lot of information, and so we sent the full packet out Thursday afternoon.
Again, I just, 1 second, I guess the other clarification, which I think Mr. Person was talking about during the Committee of the Whole, was the fact that the approval of actual construction costs and project costs will be an ongoing process once they go out for bids for that sort of thing. So I think what this is a reaffirmation of the amount of money we have always been dedicated to allocating for the Highlands construction based on the initial preliminary cost estimates that we had received. So it's by no means a green light to spend $10 million on that project. Mr. Person.
Well, I got the email.
Randy and I didn't.
There must have been something wrong, but I got two different emails. One with the CHIPS first history of the thing, and then I got a second email
It wasn't.
with this information, and in the header it showed it went to all the council. It was that all council thing, but I got I'm ready to go tonight because we're not authorizing the expenditure. We're just saying this is what we will commit to as we get the facts and the figures. And that's been very consistent for the last couple of years. Ever since we said this is how much money we're going to spend in the Highlands, and this is how much we're going to spend downtown. And so it's really not new information, so.
Mr. Prince?
Just to echo what Councilmember Person said, I got the email as well, and I also had it in my Dropbox about 3 days ago. And that's where I accessed it from when I was looking over this stuff this weekend.
Mr. Corman?
I guess I was going to say, or ask if there's further explanation, maybe that we could provide to Ms. Palmer about what has changed and why, or maybe that's not addressing the desire to.
As I said, the only reason I would agree to this is because it says it's a maximum of $10 million, and that is what we've talked about. It just feels like it's being pushed through so fast for $10 million. But again, it's saying it's the maximum, and I understand that we'll have other points where we can zero in on it as
Any-
time goes on.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No?
The ayes have it. Okay. Mr. Taylor, oh, was that it, Mr. Kern?
That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Mr. Taylor?
Yes, Community Services has a committee report.
Community Services Committee report, Maplewood Golf Course golf cart fleet purchase. The Finance Committee recommends, whoops. The Community Services Committee, sorry. report is a little mistype. The Community Services Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve the purchase agreement of 49 gasoline-powered golf carts from the Perfect Drive Club Car. The current 50 carts fleet will be utilized as trade-in. The committee further recommends that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to execute this purchase agreement. This
Mr.
is
Mayor.
signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Taylor.
I move the council concur with Community Services Committee report.
Second?
Been moved by Mr. Taylor, second by Ms. Palmer, that council concur with the Community Services Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Is that it, Mr. Taylor?
That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Zwicker.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Prince?
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Person?
Yes, I have a Finance Committee report.
Finance Committee report, approval of claims and payroll vouchers. The Finance Committee approves for payment on June 3rd, 2013, claim vouchers 321024 through 321358, 3 wire transfers and 1 payroll run with benefit withholding payments totaling $7,827,609.32, and payroll vouchers include 736 direct deposits and 59 payroll checks totaling $1,544,307.32. This is signed by the committee vice chair and member.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Person.
Just so, I want to continue in the vein of Councilman Parker. This includes a Puget Power bill of over $140,000 for 1 month. And for 2 months, for Valley Communications is over $340,000. And believe it or not, the city follows its own rules. We had all our fire extinguishers certified, checked, and that was $11,000. So with that, I move the council concur in the recommendation of the Finance Committee.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, seconded by Mr. Zwicker, that council concur with the Finance Committee report.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr.
I just want to make sure, Mr. Person, we are working to get LED lights throughout the city to try
Yes,
and
we
lower
are.
that
That
utility
will,
bill, right?
actually, the LED lighting will
Yeah.
pay,
Help a lot.
help a lot, and it will, I think it'll take us 10 years to get the cost of those lights back. But the two big advantages of it, actually, the first one is the cost savings. There's really three. The third is that it's a white light, so it's more accurate for people
Nice.
looking. And thirdly, we're not going to be changing light bulbs as often.
Yeah, which is
They figured it'll
expensive, yeah.
extend the life of the light bulbs by
That'll be nice.
twice, so.
To give you an indicator of the power savings, after servicing the debt on the cost of installing the new lights, after paying for that, we'll still have another $50,000 a year in savings on the power bill.
Wow.
So it's tremendous.
Even with the debt from
Exactly.
switching over.
Yeah.
That's
So it's very
great. Yeah, excellent.
So, all in favor of the,
Too bad Mr. Parker never thought of that.
that's right. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Ms. Palmer?
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Resolutions and ordinances, we have one resolution.
Bless you. This resolution regards the Metro Rapid Line F-Line corridor. A resolution of the City of Renton, Washington, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into a letter of understanding with King County regarding traffic signal channelization and traffic signal priority improvements in relation to the planned Metro Rapid Line F-Line, Rapid Ride F-Line corridor.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the resolution be adopted as read.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, seconded by Ms. Palmer, that this resolution be adopted as read. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Ms. Palmer.
I just might mention that Metro is going to pay for this traffic signal channelization and the transit signal prioritization because it benefits them with the F-line. So we would have liked to have done that, but they're going to go ahead and do it and pay for it. So I don't remember the dollar amount. But that was a nice little bonus to actually getting the F-line as well.
Very nice, yeah.
Yeah. That's
Thank
it.
you. Moving on to new business, Mr. Corman.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would just like to announce a committee of the whole meeting for next Monday, June 10th, 6 o'clock PM to 7 o'clock PM in the 7th floor conferencing center, and we have 2 items on that agenda. The first is regional issues, and the second is emerging issues in public works. And that's a briefing only.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Taylor?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the Community Services Committee meeting that is normally scheduled for June 10th at 4:30 will be canceled, and that is all.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Zwicker?
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Prince?
Yes, the Utilities Committee on June 10th from 5 to 5:30 has been canceled.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Person?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the Finance Committee will meet next Monday, June 10th, in the council conference room, and there's 2 subjects. First is a briefing from the fire department on the Scott Air Pack expenditures, and 2 new hire Step E authorizations for an IT systems analyst and programmer. That's all,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Palmer?
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Audience comment, is there anybody who didn't get a chance to address the council? Come on up, give your name, city of residence for the record, you have 5 minutes.
Beth Asher, of course, Renton, Washington. I just wondered, did I understand correctly that for the audit process, we've only received 1 bid for KCLS for the auditing of that particular? I just wondered how those bids are being solicited or what we have done, because I was, kind of pleased when the council had promised that we would audit that budget. And so I just wondered how that was going, and if we've only gotten 1 bid, why we've only gotten 1, and how they were being solicited.
We actually have, we did not do a formal bid process yet. We went out to a couple of firms that we've known and worked with before that are very, very good, talked with them initially on a scope of work. They brought back a proposal. It was a little bit more robust in terms of budget than we had anticipated, so we're looking at revising a little bit what their scope of work might be. At the same time, we're beginning to talk with some others. So there's not been a formal bid process, but we are informally going out and talking with known construction managers and construction audit firms.
Okay.
That's how we're doing it.
I kind of wondered how the process was going, because it's not one of the things that gets, readily published on the website. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. What's the wish of the council?
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Person, seconded by Mr. Zwicker, that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.